What's going on, nation, and welcome back to the Only Two series. Now, if this is your first time seeing this series, we've basically covered every muscle group in the body, showcasing the only two exercises you need to build muscle for each muscle group. So if you missed any of the previous videos and want to try those workouts, click the link above to view the entire playlist. However, we haven't had a chance to cover abs yet, and after today, you'll no longer feel like you're wasting your time training them in the gym. But the reason this video title is only two workouts and not only two exercises like the other videos in this series is because only two exercises isn't really enough to train your abs properly. To properly train your abs for growth, you need to break up their basic functions into 5 categories and then perform at least one exercise for each function. But you don't have to perform these 5 exercises all in one workout, guys, which is why I will be providing you with 2. But before we get started, be sure to tap that like button if you enjoy my videos, subscribe, and make sure that your bell notification is set to all and not occasional. YouTube is very sneaky and most likely changed your settings without you knowing it. So make sure you double check, and I'll post a link in my pinned comment below that'll take you right to your subscriptions page. So make sure you check it out. Now, let's go over the exercises for the workout, starting with my favorite, ab pull downs. So this exercise falls under the first category, which is going to be torso flexion, and there are a few alternatives you can try if you don't have access to a cable machine, like a weighted crunch or a weighted sit-up, but the ab pull down in particular is the best in its league. This is because it helps you go through a much larger range of motion, and it's a lot easier to overload with because all you need to do to add more weight is add more weight to the stack. Next up is the wood chopper, and this is a classic core exercise that requires torso rotation while your lower body remains fixed in place. But make sure the cable is at core height or slightly below, guys. If the cable is too high, it will throw off the entire movement. Also keep in mind that you can switch things up by lowering the cable for a low to high chop, or you can raise the cable for a high to low chop. But keep in mind though, there is that weird in-between space. You can do a high to low, but if you're trying to do the regular wood chopper and the cable's a little bit too high, it's not gonna work. So it's either all the way up or right in the middle. So exercise number 1 involves flexing your spine with your legs stiff. Now it's time to raise your legs with your upper body remaining fixed in place, and the best exercise to do that is the leg lift. Now you can perform this movement with your knees bent or straight, and you can do it hanging from a pull-up bar or by using a dip station. But for those of you who want to make it even more intense, you can also overload on this exercise by holding a dumbbell between your feet or attaching some ankle weights. Exercise number 4 is the lying windshield wiper. Now, if you remember from the second exercise, the wood chopper involved twisting your upper body while your hips stayed square. But this time, you're going to do the opposite. Your upper body will be fixed to the ground while your legs will move side to side, just like a windshield wiper. You can also perform this movement while hanging from a bar, and while this variation is much more difficult, I know if you all keep training hard, you'll be able to do it in no time. The 5th and final exercise is the standing oblique crunch. Guys, one of the main functions of your abs is to also bend your spine to each side, and we can train that function by performing standing or lying side crunches. If standing, you'll simply hold a dumbbell in one hand and crunch from left to right, and then once all reps are complete, you'll switch hands with the dumbbell and crunch from right to left. If on the ground, be sure to follow the same guidelines to perform all your crunches on one side before switching to the other. But whichever one you choose, be sure to avoid going into an anterior pelvic tilt while crunching, because that can cause lower back pain and a future injury. Now for the actual routines, here is how I would split them up. Workout 1, you're gonna start with an ab pull down, 6 sets of 12 repetitions, and then you're gonna do the standing oblique crunch, 4 sets, 12 reps per side, resting only about 60 seconds max between sets and exercises. As for workout 2, you're gonna start out with the leg lift, 6 sets of 12 repetitions, And then you're going to follow that up with the wood chopper, 3 sets of 12 reps per side, and then the laying windshield wiper, 3 sets, 12 reps per side. So as you can see on day 1, we're focusing a lot more on the rectus abdominis, hitting that ab pull down, going as heavy as we can. And on workout day 2, we're really hammering the obliques. And again, resting only about 60 seconds max between sets and exercises on day 2 as well. Do each workout once a week and just wait and see how much more defined your abs become, guys, because everyone else who would rather complain and hide behind false ideologies like you don't have to train your abs is just going to be getting left behind. And I'm not here to trick you into thinking that you can make gains without working hard. That's just not going to happen. So if you're willing to put in the work and want to start eating and training right, maybe it's time you finally downloaded my app, Muscular Strength. Use the code MS7 and try any of my muscle building programs and custom meal planner for 7 days free. These videos and workouts on YouTube are just the tip of the iceberg, guys. What's available to you on my app is next level. I hope you all have a great day, and as always, more good stuff coming soon. Check out the rest of the videos in my Only 2 series by clicking the playlist link over here. And after you try that workout, your whole outlook on what it actually takes to build muscle will change forever. And you'll quickly start to see just how much time you're wasting with all these insta-garbage fluff workouts floating around.